everybody. Welcome back. All right, so we're kicking off, and just a little bit of housekeeping. Please make sure you all sign in on the tablet. They really do rob me about the attendance, so please make sure you're signed in. You should be able to type your name. If you've been here before, your name should come up, and you should just click your name and log in. You don't have to put your email in every single time. It should be a one-time thing. Otherwise, it creates a new profile and becomes duplicated in a system. Okay. I was wondering why I was seeing so many repeat names in there. Okay. Yeah, once you start your name will come up. Just touch your name and their profile will come up. So I'll go through and delete it. So for next week, only one name should appear for you. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. All right. And then everyone's cell phone is silenced because it was, hi, how are you? All right. They're kind of going crazy in the last recording. So this is being recorded. Okay. So for today, we have a couple of recipes. We are going to do, so this is a recipe I've done before in the last version of this class, the kale salad. It seems to be a really big hit. I gave it to you like a week or two ago. And I think the key is that everyone wants to know the dressing. So this particular dressing, I don't have that on my YouTube page like I do my other non-oil free. This is the only oil-based salad dressing I use because I try to avoid oil. And so yeah, I'll give you all the secret sauce today. So we're going to make this incredibly easy salad and salad dressing. The catch with the salad dressing is that, in my opinion, to make it taste really good, it needs to marinate in your refrigerator for like 2 days, just to let their flavors meld. You can use it straight away, but to me, it's just too bright and almost acidic. It needs to just chill and mellow out. So I have one that I've already made, and then we'll make one together, and then we'll assemble the salad. We'll do that first. And with this particular salad, I've noticed that the longer it sits, the better it tastes, and the more tender the leaves are. So that's why I'm going to make the salad first. So when we go to our main dish, we'll conserve it with the salad, so you can have your half plate of non-starchy vegetables and your starchy part, your protein and all that. Okay, so it's a garlic vinaigrette. And so the reason why I try to avoid oils, because most oils are highly, highly, highly processed, okay? You have to have these factories to produce the oil. It's not naturally occurring oils. And certain oils like a canola oil, which is a byproduct of the petroleum industry, you just don't want to use it at all. It's not the best. But if you're going to use certain oils, today we're going to use olive oil. And like we've discussed before, olive oil is a low smoke oil. It should never be cooked. So especially if you're buying good stuff that's organic, extra virgin, cold pressed, you want to taste the flavor of the olives in the oil. Otherwise, when you get like the really super light, it's been pressed and pressed and pressed, and that's why it's so cheap, and that's why it has almost no flavor. And then, of course, any potential nutrients in here in terms of antioxidants, it's not there. And then once you heat it, it's gone. Okay, it has to be uncooked. Okay. So we have that. The other thing about oils, not only are they super calorically dense, like today we're going to use 1.25 cups. Just 1.25 cups of olive oil is 2,300 calories. All right. So 1 tablespoon of oil is 120 calories. So just think about when you're cooking, all the oil people just put in the pan just haphazardly, how that adds up. And then even if you're eating something deemed healthy, when you goop on all that oil, you've just it's kind of a moot point in terms of what you're trying to do. So you want to be mindful of that. So that's why you can do water saute. And if you use oil, use it very sparingly, use it purposefully. So it's for flavor. Like if I use a toasted sesame seed oil, it's for flavor. Olive oil is for flavor, and it's intentional. I'm not just lapping it on there. Okay. So just think about that, especially when people use these super unhealthy drinks like this ranch and Thousand Island and stuff I don't even want to talk about. You are defeating the purpose of your salad, okay? Okay. It might taste good, but just be aware. So if you do it, you're doing it because you're choosing to, not because you're unaware, thinking you're eating something healthy, and then you're like, I'm not losing any weight, or I feel the same. That's why, okay? 2,300. 2,300, wow. Yep, 2,300. Yep. So when you eat excessive oils that are not omega-3 oils, like olive oil is high in omega-6. Now we need them all, omega-6, 3, 6, and 9. We need them all in the right proportions. But when you have an excess amount of omega-6s and 9s, that becomes inflammatory to the body. And that's what you don't want, okay? So omega-3s, you can have an abundance of omega-3s and it's anti-inflammatory. But once you have excessive oils for the omega-6s and 9s, which is all your fried foods and all the stuff that's just greasy, is 6s and 9s, is very inflammatory. So you want to cut that out. You don't want to have anything fried. If you know, you can air fry, but you don't want anything actually like deep fried. So you can bake your fries if you want French fries. You can that actually have a crisp and a crunch, and we can do that at some point if you wish. Also, after you eat meals that has a lot of oil on it, it raises your blood triglycerides. That's what you don't want. And if you go to the doctor regularly and get your blood work done, that's one of the tests they're testing for. And it's because you're thinking you're eating okay, maybe not the cleanest, but the stuff that you eat, almost everything has oil in it. Almost everything has oil in terms of processed food, in terms of even go out to restaurants, even healthy restaurants. I mean, it's covered in oil. If it's not clarified butter they're cooking it in, then it's some type of oil, and then it's heated at a very high heat. So remember, we said once it starts to smoke, it becomes a carcinogen. Close. Trans fat. Okay, once any oil, doesn't matter what it is, once it actually smokes, once it hits that smoke point, it goes from being a regular fat to a trans fat. Trans fat is what actually causes the rigidity in your arteries, and that's what you don't want. Okay, that's what's going to add to your cardiovascular disease, which you're always trying to avoid. Okay, so that's why we want to always minimize oil. I think that's what I want to say. And anytime you see anything that says hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated, that is the more professional term for trans fat. Okay, and anything processed, anything in a package, so Entenmann's, I heard people are still eating that. I didn't even know that was still on the market. Entenmann's, the Ho-Ho's, Hostess, whatever. Anything that's in a package that has a million ingredients that you can't pronounce, I guarantee you're probably going to see partially hydrogenated soybean oil, partially hydrogenated corn oil, you're going to see that. That means trans fat. It's right there on the page. So when you eat this, it is not good for your heart, it's not good for your body, it's not good for your blood. So be aware. So if you choose to eat those things, because I'm not here to tell you what to or not to, I'm just trying to give you the information. You're aware, so that way if you do eat those things, you can clean house and detox. Okay. All right. So that's my spiel. My reduced spiel on oils. So that's why I don't like to talk about this dressing that much, but everyone loves it because it's the only oil-based dressing that I prepare. But everything else is oil-free. And if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a video of like 6 or 7 really delicious oil-free dressings. All right. So with that, if you are on my website, thenaijagoddess.com, go to blog, and you will see today's recipes. You can follow along with me. So we're going to start off. So this is the one I've already made, and I'm going to make one today. And just as a side note, we've talked about plastics, I think a week or 2 ago, how we don't want to, use plastics with intention. Make sure you're not heating them up. So when I make the batch of salad dressing I'm going to make today, because there's vinegar in it, vinegar and metal they're not friends. So sometimes you see if you use the mason jars and they're kind of corroded or rusted, it's used because you had something acidic in there. And so to combat that, doesn't mean don't use it. I just put a piece of parchment paper across the top and then seal it, and then you don't have any issue and it stays nice and clean. So that's just a quick little pro tip. So it doesn't mean you have to use plastic, but if you choose plastic, as long as you don't heat it up, it's fine. Okay, I'm not demonizing anything. All right, so I'm gonna pour everything straight into the mason jar. I just wanted to show you that. So I just tore a piece of unbleached parchment paper. All right, so when I start this off, this is going to be a cup and a quarter of olive oil. And this is the good stuff. Of course, it's organic. I don't want the insecticides and stuff in my salad dressing. And because I love you all so much, I would never serve you all that either. All right, I should have been doing this while I was pouring. I didn't realize it was going to come out this slowly. But yeah, and I know a lot of people like to cook with olive oil, but like I said, it's a very low smoke point. So it's something that you think is healthy for you and your heart health, as they like to promote. Actually, there are better ways. Let's say that. I don't need lobbying agencies coming for me. Okay, so been great if I brought my funnel. All right. So if you use a cheap olive oil or a different oil, it'll be a different color. And that's totally fine. Sorry. So our next ingredient is apple cider vinegar, and I absolutely get the one with the mother. And the reason why is because it's full of all of the active enzymes, and it's unpasteurized, meaning it has not been heated. So if you buy like the regular apple cider vinegar, it's been pasteurized, and everything that's medicinal about it has evaporated. And that's no exaggeration. So,
So what is that?
this is just the olive oil. I was trying to talk through so you don't have to watch me pour so slowly. So this is the apple cider vinegar with the mother, organic. It's unpasteurized, meaning it was not heated.
Oh, so it's brand.
Yeah, I prefer this brand, but I'm not brand loyal. I'm organic loyal. Okay. Yes, you'll see it. It'll say with the mother.
With the mother.
Yes, and you'll see like this brown stuff that kind of is at the bottom because it settles in the grocery store and you shake it up. And that's all the active enzymes and bacteria in there that keeps it from having to be heated, that keeps it shelf stable, but it's actually really good for your digestive tract.
With the mother. Okay.
Yes. And again, always try to get organic if possible. I'm going to have to redo some of my little things I did in the last class so I can refresh y'all's memories and why it's so important. So now it's a cup and a half of apple cider vinegar.
Cup and a quarter.
Thank you.
Cup and a quarter.
Thank you. I totally misspoke. All right. So we're almost halfway through. Okay, so the thing that gives it really good flavor, because I call this a garlic vinaigrette, I'm putting in, you put how many you want. If you don't want a strong garlic flavor, then put in less. If you don't want any garlic, then don't put it in at all. But I said 8, but because these are really fat, I put in, I think, 6 or 7 of these. And I just took the back of a knife and just slightly crushed it just to let the flavor kind of release. And that's part of the reason why it's going to mellow out by marinating in your fridge. So if you do it right now, it's just too in your face, in my opinion. All right, and then we're going to, actually I need this lemon for something else, don't I? I can forego the lemon. We're going to squeeze this lemon. I was going to use lemon for the actual salad, but they only had, when I went to the grocery store really quickly, they only had, this is like the last organic lemon they had, and I couldn't wait for the stock person to come back with it, so I just got the one lemon. All right. Oops. And this will last for about 2 weeks in your refrigerator, if it even needs to last that long. But it's very, very flavorful. All right, so we've got our lemon. Put that over here. And what else? So with all this acidity, you always need to balance it out with a little bit of sweetness. You can't taste it at all, but it's just for balance. And so I have here just a little bit. This is not coconut sugar, it's actually agave sugar. It was just no rhyme or reason. Just it's still unprocessed. I mean, still unrefined sugar. And we're going to add in a little bit of black pepper. I would add in more, but for you all, I'll add in a little bit less. All right, and then a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and that's really it, guys. So I'm going to just put this parchment paper back over it. Just give it a really good shake. And that's it. Just put it in the refrigerator. Sometimes I put like Italian seasoning in there too, you know, just because, you know, you can really make your own, but this is the base recipe, and just let it marinate. Like that garlic will mellow out, and really blend it with the apple cider vinegar. And yeah, it's really good to go. So now with that, I'm gonna wash my hands again. So now with that, now I'll go ahead and make the salad. And this salad takes less than 5 minutes really to put together. Might be a little bit longer since I'm talking through it. All right. All right, so I'm gonna use this bowl. So I have a bag here of organic kale. Remember, if you can't find or buy due to money or something like that, organic, be selective about which you do. Purchase non-organic, so it's anything with a peel. So like if you wanted to buy non-organic oranges, that's better than that, than this, where it's actually sprayed directly on this part that you actually eat. It's still in there, but it's not to the degree of a peel. So here's our bag of kale. And as you all can see, I mean, it's pretty, but it's kind of dull looking, right? It's not inviting you to eat you, right? All right, so what I like to do, I put like a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, and it's really for background flavor. It's not a prominent taste. And a little bit of salt, because salt will be the abrasive, because we're going to massage this kale. It breaks down the cellular walls and makes it tender, and helps relieve the bitterness that can be associated with kale. And then I'll also do a squeeze of a whole lemon on here as well, and kind of get going with that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just massage the kale, and you're going to see it's going to deflate probably by at least a third, maybe to a half, and it's going to get really bright green and beautiful. And there's no time length. You don't want to massage it, then you don't have to. But I know a lot of people don't like to overly chew their salads. So for our dance classes, when we were allowed to bring food, I would pretty much take this salad every week, and people would swear to me it wasn't kale, because they would say, I don't like kale because kale is not that good. And I'm like, it's kale. I promise you it's kale. All right, that toast smells so good. All right, you see how it's already shrinking.
And getting green.
And getting bright green, yes. And always, this is my personal opinion, always impart good intention and love into your food, because it comes through. So when I do things like this, that's really what I'm thinking of. Like, I want this to be nourishing to all you all's bodies and flavorful. So there we go. And I could keep going, but it's feeling pretty soft to me, and it's going to keep sitting. So the lemon juice would further help tenderize it if I added that at this time. So here we go. Y'all see the difference? It looks like you want to eat it now, right? Okay. So this next part is simple. It's just a dump and go, and we just toss it again. So I add in some organic shredded carrots. You can shred it yourself or do this. I typically just buy this bag. Put in as much as you want. I gave guidance in the recipe. This is really however you really like it. Okay. Then I put in some dried blueberries. I like to find the ones that are not coated in sugar and oil, which I don't know why they do that. Just to add to, I feel like the blueberries, not only do they add antioxidants, but they balance out the acidity of the dressing. That's my personal belief.
You know, what brand is that?
I'm not brand loyal. This was just what was, this one is nutty and fruity.
And how much of the blueberries and that?
I just put the whole bag in for the whole bag of kale, but you don't have to. You put as much or as little as you want. I've also done this. When I initially this recipe, I used to do it with craisins. I've done it with pomegranate arrows, whatever you like. It's just a nice counterbalance to the actual dressing. And then I have the dressing here. Let's see, did I miss anything? I think that's it. Yeah, that's really it. Now, you never want to overdress a salad. That's how you know if you're going to a proper restaurant. This is from my culinary school days. If you go to a restaurant and there's salt and pepper on the table, you're not at a high quality restaurant, okay? Because if you go to a proper restaurant, you're paying for the chef who has culinary knowledge to season the food. And so if you have a salad come out, if they have to give you all the dressing on this, unless you're wanting extra sauce or whatever, it should already be dressed. You don't have to add anything to it. And that's how you know what kind of caliber restaurant you're at. If you go to a restaurant, they hand you a salad and they're asking you want ranch or Thousand Island, all that stuff, you could do better, okay? And you could do better. So, yeah, just say that. So I'm just mixing in. Oh, I put a lot of carrots. That's okay. And then that's really it. They're gonna say this at the end, well, when they have the Moin Moin. And that's it, y'all. I mean, it's very simple. It's not overly dressed. And kale, because it's a hardy green, it can withstand this. So what type of vegetable is kale? Cruciferous. It's a cruciferous vegetable. That's correct. What does that really mean, though? Okay. What does the word cruciferous actually mean? What does it sound like? It does mean cross, from crucifer. That's who said that? Did you say it, Jackie? Oh, Coretta, stop. Coretta, for those who don't know, she's a registered dietitian, one of my colleagues and friends, so she knows all the answers. So she's banned from answering. Yes, so it's part of the brassica family, like the cabbage family. And there's 12 common cruciferous vegetables. Can you all name some? Broccoli. Brussels sprouts. Collard greens. Swiss chard's not. Cauliflower. No. Bok choy. Nope. Kohlrabi, if you're trying to. Kohlrabi, yep. Anything else? Oh, cabbage, yes. That's 7. That's 6 more. Collard greens, yep. Not spinach. Spinach is not a cruciferous vegetable. Mustard greens, turnip greens, yes. Arugula. A lot of people don't realize arugula is a cruciferous vegetable. Yeah, let's see. Watercress. So those are the ones. So what do you want to know? So it's called a crucifer or cruciferous vegetable or cross because when the flower petals, when they bloom, it's the 4-leaf flower petal and it looks like a cross. So that's how that family of related plants got their name. And they actually all, side note, you know, I'm an herbalist, so just on the botanical side, they all come from the turnip. Turnip is the original plant, original to like the earth, and all of these are offshoots of the turnip plant. Okay, so kale and all that are offshoots of turnip. That's the original family. Anyway.
Is the bulb good to eat too? Off the turnip?
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So some of the potential cons that you might hear about cruciferous vegetables, they're filled with something called a goitrogen. And goitrogens are very specific to the cruciferous family. And that means they can block the uptake of iodine to your body. And iodine, you need it in your whole body, but you always hear it in reference to what organ, what gland? Yes, your thyroid. So does that mean you should not have cruciferous vegetables? No. So if you are hypothyroid, meaning, and you're hypothyroid because you are iodine deficient, that does not mean avoid cruciferous vegetables. That means you should not eat them raw. They need to be steamed. And then you have to eat really a whole lot for them to actually block it. But because they have that effect, most people, since they put a little sprinkle of greens on their plate, it's not affecting anything. But if you're trying to consciously increase your non-starchy vegetables and you love broccoli, for example, and don't eat tons of broccoli if you have any kind of iodine issue or thyroid issue, you want to make sure that it is at least steamed or lightly cooked. And that will break down the goitrogens, and you won't have an issue. And if you're taking sea moss with it as well, you don't have to worry about your iodine. But that's just a quick little shameless plug there.
You know why dark green vegetables are bad for people with kidney stones?
Yes,
The same reasons
for the same reasons, and it's hard for them to filter that out through their kidneys when they're already having kidney issues.
It's disorder.
Goitrogens. Yep. Same. And also, goitrogens, well, cruciferous vegetables can kind of be that it has a very distinct smell, right? They're sulfur based. So sometimes when people have issues with processing sulfur, but sulfur is really needed in our bodies. It's really good for your hair and your skin, which is why they're so healthy for you. You might just want to flash steam it or lightly cook. You don't want to cook. Your vegetables are not supposed to be mush. It's supposed to have texture, okay? All right. Don't. If you're used to that, get used to something different.
So if it's cooked, it negates that uptake issue?
It significantly reduces, not fully negate. Yeah, and again, you have to eat a significant amount on a repeated basis for it to have that effect, but because it is a potential effect, it's something for people to be aware of, especially if they're newly diagnosed with like hypothyroidism or they have like chronic kidney disease, anything like that. Anything that where you have to filter those things out and your body has a hard time with your liver, your kidneys, or your thyroid, then you want to be aware of that. Yep. So that's the breakdown of cruciferous vegetables. Y'all learn something? Yes. Okay, good. Remember, I've been known to do a pop quiz every now and then, so we might be doing a midterm or something coming up. We'll see. But we'll say. All right, so we've got 2 recipes out the way. Again, it's on the website. You can check that out anytime. So we've done the magical dressing recipe that everyone's always asked me about. Very simple, just let it sit, just takes time and you just let it sit. And we've done the kale salad, which you're gonna eat with this Nigerian delicacy that we're gonna make next, okay? This is called Moin Moin, and it's pronounced Moin Moin, but it has an N on the end because originally it's in the Yoruba language, and the Yoruba is one of the largest ethnic groups in Nigeria. And sometimes it's called alele in the native language, but around the world and most parts of the continent is moi moi. And it comes from the word moyen, and it just shortened down to moi moi. And moi moi really means moist because it's a steamed bean pudding or cake, how you want to cook. It's not sweet, okay? We don't do sweet. It's a steamed bean, we say pudding. But sometimes here in the United States, I hear Nigerian Americans say bean cake. They're served, it can be like a main dish. It's really like you come home from school, that's like your afternoon snack. And you can make them like in little treat size. You can take with you to lunch for work or for school. It's really handy like that. The main bean we would use, because you can go to like the African markets and buy the traditional beans, like the brown beans, the honey beans, or oyoyen bean from there. But the closest bean to it in the United States is the black-eyed bean. And with the black-eyed bean, I'm going to pass it around. When you so if you buy a bag of black-eyed peas, or they call them black-eyed peas in the United States, black-eyed beans, you want to take the skins off. Now, is it mandatory in terms of flavor? No. Is it ideal in terms of texture because it's supposed to be like a cake pudding? Yes, the extra layer of fiber weighs it down. So just like when we go into the Mediterranean part of our class and we do like a hummus, it's desired that you take off the skins of the chickpeas because it gives a smoother, silkier texture. It's the same thing with this. Or you can go to a Nigerian market and buy it already peeled, like I did for you all today. Like I've said to you all every time, it's really good to go to your ethnic markets. You get so many spices and things and fruits for so much cheaper, and it has a far more variety. Well, let me not roll it down so you can still see the bag. I'm just gonna do like this because it's opened. And I'll pass this around for you all to see. And so what I've done, anytime you have any kind of nut or seed, what should you do? Soak it. Yes. And Especially with beans in case of any kind of flatulence issue, anything like that. So I've had these beans soaking, now it's almost out of water. I've had these soaking since I got here. I mean, it's ideal to always soak overnight, but as long as if you forget and you're ready to make something, the second you walk into the kitchen, go ahead and soak it. So even if it's 15 minutes, just put it in, turn your faucet on, have the water come out warm or hot, and let it soak until you're ready to actually prepare. At least you have some type of soaking involved. Don't feel like, oh crap, I didn't soak my beans overnight, so I can't make it. Go ahead and make it, okay? So these have already been rinsed. I'm draining them now. And it's actually, frankly, very easy to make. So traditionally how we make it, and this is a very unique smell, and I was actually gonna bring it, actually Publix shocked me. The produce manager, he is awesome. They actually had banana leaves in Publix. And I bought a pack. It was only $5 for all these banana leaves. So it's normally steamed and wrapped in banana leaves traditionally. So you have a big open pot. You would put the Moin Moin batter in the banana leaves. You wrap it up like a little package, like a little treat. And then you let it bake or steam for however long, and then it's ready. So, and it imparts more nutrition there from the banana leaves. It's really a great thing. But we live here. Most people are not familiar with using banana leaves. So how you'll see a lot of people do it, they'll make aluminum foil packets and pour it directly into aluminum foil packet. I don't agree with that personally. You all know why. But you'll see it a lot like that. You'll see it in ramekins. You'll see them in muffin cups like we're going to do today. And sometimes people have even put them in plastic bags and baked them, which I'm absolutely totally against. But I would actually say that is bad. That's one thing I can clearly say undefinitively, that that's bad. If you're like, okay, I'm interested in trying this, but I don't want to sit there and peel beans and all that. I know myself and I'm not going to do it. And I want to do like an American shortcut. You can use red lentils, okay? So they're already peeled and drained, and it gives the right color and consistency, so you can use that if you wish. But I'm keeping it authentic today for you guys. Let's see. So what we're going to end up using is our blender. And if you have like a NutriBullet, you can do this in there. You just have to do it in a little bit of batches. So let me get this out the way since we're finished with this particular recipe. Okay. All right, put that over. Thank you. Well, great. So we have 2 red bell peppers that I just lightly chopped. You don't have to if your brothers can do it. I've taken 1 red onion that I've quartered. I have 3 cloves of garlic. I'm adding in a couple tablespoons of red palm oil, and it's really for flavor because it has a very distinct taste. And again, we said how nutritious this particular oil is. It's no heat added to it. It's ethically sourced and all that kind of thing. Normally in the versions you'll see now, because originally this was already naturally a vegan or a plant-based dish, but now because they want to add meat to everything, you will commonly see it with a hard-boiled egg in it, and or with dried fish like mackerel in it. They'll put the batter in, plop half an egg in there, or put in some smoked fish and put more batter on top, so when you cut into it, it's like a surprise, like, oh, what's inside my Moin Moin, okay? And they'll also sometimes use dried crayfish. Dried crayfish is used a lot in West African seasonings. It has a very distinct smell and taste. And so our replication for that today is our nori sheets that I just blitzed. You can buy like the little seaweed snacks that I've shown before, or you can go out to the Asian market. These are very, you get a big pack like this very inexpensively, and you can pass that around. And I took 2 nori sheets and I blitzed it in a blender, and this will be our substitute crayfish powder. I think I said 3 to 4 Maggi cubes, and I have the little small one, so I just doubled it. So I have 8 of those. And now, normally, we will put at least 3 Scotch bonnet or habanero peppers in it with the seeds included. But because I respect you all and your tongues, we're gonna do one. So it'll just have a little bit of a kick to it, but it's not spicy, okay? So just for you all, but just know if you eat at an authentic Nigerian place, it will have a lot more kick than you would taste today because they will put in a minimum of 3. I got that particular pack from the what's it called? Super G on Independence.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. I go all over so I can just look for stuff. What's right here? Okay, I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that one, huh? I have to see it because it's not ringing a bell. I'm kind of directionally challenged, y'all. Okay.
Yeah, they're getting ready to close that one anyway.
Okay.
That one on the east way, where big bottles, yeah, where bottles used to be in.
I'm not familiar. Okay. Even though I've been here for 8 years, I'm still very unfamiliar with. I take GPS everywhere still, so I have to see it because it's not ringing a bell. So the black-eyed peas or black-eyed beans, because we have black-eyed beans in Nigeria. It's just a slightly different species, but it's very similar to the black-eyed beans you have here in the United States. Do anyone know what the black eye of the bean is? No? It's where it was attached to the pod. That's all it is. Yeah, which makes sense. That's the thing. Most people are so disconnected from their food, how it actually grows, what it actually looks like. You should know where your food comes from and how it was grown. Hopefully not raised, but even if you eat something that was raised, how it was raised, all that stuff does matter, okay? But how it was grown, you should know. You should know what it looks like. That's something that we've gotten far too away from in our society. So that's all it is. It was just attached to the pod where you see the black spot. So that's all it is. Let's see anything I said. Talk about banana. So typically, if you're not eating as like a main dish, as like a snack or like a lunch, it's served with jollof rice. It's served with something like called ogi, which is it's like a Nigerian fermented custard made with corn. We might do that in here. It's served with that. It's served with Nigerian fried rice. So the dishes, Nigerian dishes tend to be heavy because it's used like a rice and a bean and a plantain as the dish, but you're full for the day, so there's not a whole lot of snacking typically, or you just eat twice a day. But yeah, so that's what it's typically served with. Let me see, anything else I want to mention about this? Yep, so black-eyed peas are actually native to West Africa, and through the transatlantic slave trade, they went to the West Indies, and then they came here. That's how it became like a common thing here. A lot of Southerners use black-eyed beans for Hoppin' John for New Year's Day celebrations to bring them good luck. Historically, let's see. They're good for eye health. They help lower diabetes, your risk of diabetes. They help increase your energy levels. So again, we've talked about this every week. I want to get it solidified. When something's a good source, what's the percentage? A good source of, say, folate? 10 to 19. So excellent is what? 20 and above. Okay, so it has an excellent source of calcium, iron, vitamin A, magnesium, zinc, copper, manganese, folate, and vitamin K. So just as a side note for this World Cuisine class, all of the centurion regions in the world all eat beans. Eating beans extends your life. It's been proven time and time again. So that's why these other fad diets has been proven to extend your life. But all the centurion zones, the blue zones is what they're called, beans are a part of the diet.
Is that the same thing we call black-eyed peas?
Yes.
Same thing.
Same thing. Same thing. So you want to get those in. So black-eyed beans or black-eyed peas or cow peas, how we call them sometimes in Nigeria, it's so very, very healthy for you. So this dish is quite healthy, all things considered, and it's a complex carb. So a complex carb means it takes longer to break down, so it keeps you fuller longer. It doesn't spike your blood sugar like a simple sugar would. When I say simple sugar, I'm not talking about like as in a fruit that's natural, but in terms of like a candy, like refined sugar that would just spike it really high. Okay, this is not natural. All right, so hopefully I've enticed you all with this. They say it's a delicacy, but we eat it all the time. So I don't know why it's called a delicacy, but it is. So I do it a little bit differently so you all can see me do this. You're supposed to just put everything in the blender like a dump and go. But through trial and error, I've learned that I blend this up first and then I add the beans, because you might need to add a little bit of water, and it just makes it a silkier experience when you do it like that. And so most of the time, unless you don't have a very high speed blender, when you blend this, you don't need any water because these vegetables are full of water. So I just put in the quartered, red onion. And then now I'm adding in the red bell pepper, which we call tatache. I'm out of frame, sorry. Okay. So we're going to give this a blitz. I'm going to go ahead and add in the spices too. I'm going to add in the Maggi cubes. And I'm going to add in the ginger. I went back on the ginger too because I would definitely add more ginger. So it's just a little tiny little piece of ginger. Oh, Lord. And I'm going to take this off.
You gotta do it full fledged.
I don't want it to go to waste. But I'm not going to deceive this, okay? Because once you add the beans, okay, it's going to absorb a lot of that heat. I don't think you all are going to pass that on me today. But I'm just going to add this one. Okay. And also with this in here, if this was like a non-vegan plant-based version, if I was adding in the dried crayfish, I would go ahead and add it. But the nori, I don't want to add it because it would turn it green. So after everything's well incorporated with the beans and this, I just add this in, either stir it in or just do a couple of quick pulses so that the nori sheets that we passed around.
Okay, got you.
Yep. And if you all smell it, tell me it doesn't smell fishy to you.
Well, isn't it like the seaweed wrap?
Yeah.
So you can use the seaweed wrap as well.
That is a seaweed wrap.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's in a different pack. I got it from the Asian store, so it just looks a little bit different. Yep. Okay. I smell childhood. I don't know what you all smell. That's what I smell. Okay, so you see it didn't require any water. All right, so now we're going to add the beans to it. Like I said, I got here about 1:30 today and I started soaking the beans then. It was just 2 cups of beans that's blossomed into all this. And that's why I said you might have to add water to it. And then it's going to give us our nice batter. Okay. I forgot one ingredient. You can really taste the difference. So did I say, who's looking? Is it 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons?
3 tablespoons.
Okay. And it's known for its distinctive red-orange color. So if you see some brown Moin Moin, run. Okay. I can't vouch for that one. And sometimes you'll see like a dark red, and that means that person added tomato paste, which is not super traditional, but it's not unlawful. Okay, now we're cooking. All right. And I'm going to add just a little bit of water, just so it'll be silky smooth. This is just a 1/3 cup. There we go. Okay, just a little bit more water, y'all. Thank you for your patience. All right, we're almost there, and then we're gonna bake it. Then we get to snack time for y'all. You wake back up. Okay, I think we're good. Let me see. Yep, we're good. And now I am going to, I'll just stir in the flakes. Normally at this point, if you put in the proper amount of pepper, your eyes should burn a little. That's how you know it's good. I don't feel anything, so. All right. Can you all see? I don't know if y'all can see me. No? Okay. All right. And I could let that blend longer, but I don't want to bore you all either. So, what we're gonna do, I have this silicone muffin pan, and I like to use silicone as much as possible in baking, so you don't have to add unnecessary oil. We already have palm oil in this. I don't want to, you know, y'all know what I'm saying. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna pour. I mean, this is an easy recipe, right? And especially if you decide to use red lentils, you don't have to wash the beans. I mean, peel the beans.
What about split peas, the yellow one?
That's gonna run the wrong color, and that's just not permitted. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine, but don't say it's Nigerian. I just splattered. Okay, so there's several ways to cook it. Like I said, if we're at home, it'll be like a big open fire, big pot, open fire. We obviously don't have that, right? So we're gonna bake it in a bain-marie, which is a water bath. And you can do that in the oven, and you also can do that on the stove. So I'm gonna show the two different versions. So I already have a casserole dish filled with water. I'm going to do this here too. And because we're steaming it, it wants to bake evenly and gently. That's what a water bath does. So like if you're making like a souffle, that's when you use a bain-marie. It's the same concept. Same concept. All right. So I hope that this stove is going to work with me today. All right. So I'm going to pour the extra batter into this.
Could you eat that as a dip, as it is right now? I really should cook it.
No.
Too much. Okay.
I ain't gonna lie to you like that. No. It tastes like pulverized uncooked beans with some kick. Yeah, it might look appetizing, but in my opinion, I don't think that is the way to go. Okay, so I'm just gonna cover this. And for this, we usually I cover this with parchment paper and then with aluminum foil. And that is because, one, it helps for it to steam and cook evenly, but also if you leave it uncovered and cooked, the top will develop a skin on it, and that's not a pudding-like texture. So you can either cut it off or deal with it or cover it up. And I think I forgot my parchment paper, so let's see if Eastway Regional has some parchment and some aluminum foil. Otherwise, it's gonna have a crust on it. Oh, parchment. It's bleached, but it's okay. Okay. Aluminum foil. Okay, you mind checking? All right. Okay, Eastway. They usually don't have that much. That's okay. All All right. Just gonna cover that. I'm gonna bring this dish over here. And I just filled it halfway. It doesn't matter if the muffin parts touch or not. It's just creating steam, and it makes sure that everything heats evenly at the same time. So no hot spots. So even if your oven has a hot spot, this will still cook very evenly. No? We're gonna go with this and see what happens. Okay, we're gonna go with that. All right. It's on 425. And with this oven, I'm gonna say 45 minutes. Let's see. Yep. I'm gonna set my alarm, and we will eat that with the salad. Or if it takes too long, we'll eat the salad separately, whatever happens. Yep. That helps it. What's the high temperature on parchment paper? Is it 500? 500. Where's the? This right here. So wipe this stuff off. Okay. Now we're on to this dish I kind of made up, and I really like it. It's I'm calling it now a Rawnola, a grain-free Rawnola. Let's make sure. Okay, so these outlets aren't working. Okay. All right, so now we have our handy dandy food processor. All right, let me make sure. Did I cover everything on this? I think I did. All right, our fruit granola. Let me talk about it first, and we can get that going. All right, just kind of engage you all a little bit. All right, so a lot of times people eat oatmeal for breakfast, but I hear a lot, like my sister, she hates oatmeal. And so I was kind of inspired to do something different for her that was still healthy, that helps you get your fruit in the morning with some healthy fats. So I came up with this recipe, and it's very, very simple, very delicious. It's on the, if you go to the blog post, there's a video of it, and you can see my friend and Damon taste testing it for the first time when I made it up, and get their direct feedback on it. But so the base of this is sunflower seeds, and you can switch it for pumpkin seeds. I haven't tried with the nut. I typically I don't use a lot of nuts because people have so many nut allergies, and dates, and that's kind of like the sweetness of it. And the sunflower seeds are, of course, for the healthy fat, and then apples and some spices. So it's very, very simple, but when you put it all together, it's a granola that's raw, but delicious. It's very refreshing, lightly sweet. So, and then we top it, or we add in, we fold in goji berries at the end. Has anyone ever heard of goji berries?
I can't eat them, it's so hard. What I'm doing?
Soak it. You can soak it. Yeah. Just rehydrate it. Sometimes they do get a little hard. Has anybody ever tasted a goji berry? Fresh or dried? Yeah? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about goji berries and why they're so amazing for you. So it's one of the healthiest dried fruits on the planet. So sometimes dried fruit gets a bad rap because the sugar gets more intensified. But sometimes the iron usually goes up too when it's dry for some reason. I can't remember the science behind that. But it's one of the healthiest fruits on the planet due to its high antioxidant count. Now, we hear, like you all said, cruciferous. Someone said, I said, what does that mean? They said healthy. So people hear antioxidant, they know it's healthy, but they don't really know what that means. What is an antioxidant? What is it doing? Don't just spit out words you don't know what it is. Huh? The result of it will help reduce inflammation. That's true. So it fights another term or phrase that's used that people don't know what it actually means, but they say all the time. It fights free radicals. What does that mean? Okay, so let's get down to it, and then we'll make it. So free radicals. So think of it like my teacher told me. Think of it like you live in a glass house, and you're playing a pinball machine or a marble machine, and the marbles just start going everywhere and start breaking the glass in your house. Those are the free radicals in your body, okay? They're oxidizing things. So the antioxidants come in and they prevent the oxidation from happening. And that gives you a longer lifespan, helps you live longer. It reduces a lot of the inflammation that could be in your body. And that's why it's so good for you. So people always say, oh, it fights free radicals, antioxidants, but y'all know what it means. Okay, so know what it means so that you can actually intentionally say, okay, I want to make sure. They actually have a scale called the ORAC scale, ORAC, the oxygen radical antioxidant capacity scale. And you can look up any plant food because it's not because it's vegan. It's because it's only found in plants, the antioxidants. There's no antioxidants in a pork chop. Okay, so you put in any kind of like plant food. Like no, seriously, it's on the website. It's free, and you can see how potent the antioxidants are in the food, whether it's dried or fresh. And it's really potent. So like blueberries are very potent in antioxidants, right? Fresh blueberries. Blueberries dried are still full of antioxidants, but not nearly as much as they are fresh. The most common, like you can find here, like goji berries, they always have it at the organic marketplace in Gastonia, and they consistently have it at Target by the brand Nutiva, which I brought because I already used up all my other goji berries. No, Nativas, this brand. They always have, this brand's at Target a lot, and they have goji berries. And so today we're going to use goji berries and these mulberries because they're good. Anytime you use a raisin, you can use a goji berry. It's a good replacement for that. They're not as sweet, but they're still sweet enough. So the highest dried fruit ever that's like off the charts are dried pomegranate. And you know, you don't see those that often. They also have an Indian gooseberry, also called amla. Those are the highest antioxidants on the planet. But goji berries are just right up there with it. So if you want to boost your antioxidants, and now you know what it is, and you should, then you can do that, right? It's also cancer-fighting, anti-inflammatory. They've used it in a number of studies. So all the stuff we talked about in class are all evidence-based nutrition. Lots of studies on PubMed, not just a Google search on WebMD, okay? Actual research that's been done. Goji berries have, what's an excellent source of vitamin A? 20% for your daily value. Goji, yeah, you're right. I'm agreeing. I'm just saying for your daily value, 20% is considered excellent. So for vitamin A, 20% would be considered excellent if it had it, right? Goji berries have 500% of your daily value and for vitamin A, okay? And that's when it's dried, even when it's dried. It helps bolster your kidney function. There have been lots of studies if you have any kind of kidney issues that it helps with the filtering process of your kidneys if you incorporate it into your diet regularly. It helps promote hair growth. It helps to regulate your blood pressure. It helps to relieve depression and anxiety. I mean, there's so much research done on goji berries and on gooseberries. It's really phenomenal. They're also really good for increasing your sperm count and your sex drive in men and your egg quality in women. And that's not surprising because we've talked about before, anything that's red pigmented and that phytochemical is red is made for the reproductive tract. So, but gooseberries and goji berries are really good for increasing your sperm count, increasing your sex drive, and increasing your overall egg quality in women if you're caring about fertility or having a healthy sex drive, which is very important for overall health. Is actually quite important, but that's a whole other conversation we get into. Okay, so that's the very condensed scoop about goji berries and why you should find them and you should incorporate them. Now, I will say, for me, I don't care how much things cost because my health comes first, and I'd rather sacrifice on something else than talk about how much something costs. I will say a bag of goji berries can be rather costly because they're not common in the American diet. However, if you go to an Asian market, you can get a huge bag of goji berries for like $5. But then I call goji berries they're called lycium berries, okay? Lycium. Yep, Lycium. So when you go to these specialty markets, they don't, so the organic label is a USDA organic, okay? So these imported goods are not going to necessarily have that. So you have to just talk to people to see where it came from. So certain countries, you know, they just don't do it. Like I try to avoid stuff from China a lot. You have to use with discretion.
Okay.
Use with discretion. But that's specific to the United States, that particular designation.
Is goji G-O-G-E?
G-O-J-I.
G-O-J-I.
Yes, G-O-J-I.
And you said in the Asian store it would be L-Y-C-U-M?
L-Y-C-I-U-M. Lycium berries. Yep, and you get a huge bag for like $5. Or you can go to Target or Organic Marketplace and get that size bag for like $12, I think it is. So
Costco's for $19.99, you get a big bag.
I don't have a Costco membership, I have a Sam's Club membership. So, and I have not seen it at our Gastonia Sam's Club. They are very much meat and potatoes kind of shoppers. So they're not very flexible on bringing in more organic stuff. So I don't go there that often unless I'm getting stuff for class. That's not produce. I don't get any produce from Sam's Club. So goji berries, make them your friend, incorporate them. They have, they're sweet enough. They're not super sweet like a raisin, but they're sweet enough where you can eat them. Or you can add them to a trail mix. I mean, you can incorporate so many ways, or like you can incorporate into this dish. I mean, it's really, really good. And it's chewy, so it adds a nice contrasting texture in your mouth. So I'm sure most of you are not familiar with it. I'm sure that's not part of your everyday diet, but if you want to have a healthy dried fruit that's not covered, because a lot of the dried fruit that you buy in the grocery store, they're dry, which already makes them sweeter. They'll put cane sugar on top of it and oil. Okay, it's like, hello, what are you doing? So if you don't have a dehydrator and you don't end up doing it yourself, just look for the healthier ones. Of course, they cost more, but of course, I think it's worth it because you're investing in yourself, and cooking or preparing food is a health behavior. Okay, if you want to have good health, get in the kitchen and eat unprocessed foods is part of that. So just, that's something to think about. The other big thing in here are sunflower seeds, which are a little bit more familiar to you all. Those are a little bit more economical than like a pumpkin seed or something like that. And their claim to fame is that they're very high in, way above the 20% in vitamin E and then selenium. And selenium is one of those trace minerals and antioxidants and vitamin E is a very potent antioxidant as well. And that's why you see it in a lot of makeups and stuff, for it to keep it shelf stable. You'll add vitamin E oil to it to keep it, because it's an antioxidant as well. But sunflower seeds are very, very high in that. They help to fight free radicals in your body, which we just discussed what that actually is, so you know what it is. It helps to reduce diabetes. If you have diabetes, it's anti-inflammatory. It reduces heart disease because sunflower seeds have magnesium in it, and it has a compound in it that prevents your blood vessels from constricting. That's specific to sunflower seeds. So when you eat them, if you incorporate them regularly, that's something that will help. So instead of taking blood pressure pills, you can drink celery juice and eat sunflower seeds. So your choice on that. Okay, I think that's enough. We can go ahead and get started on that. I know y'all ready to put something in your mouths. Let's see. Oh, here it is, my face.
You mentioned oatmeal before. Do you consider that healthy? I know it's kind of like
Oops. Yes, because oatmeal is a prebiotic, so it's good. It feeds your good gut bacteria. The main thing with oats that I personally eat spelt flakes over oats because it has a lot more nutrition in it. And oats are one of the most heavily sprayed crops, so it's harder to, you have to make sure they're organic. And if you do eat oats, because it is still high in fiber and carbs, but it's the complex carbs that slow burn. It's the good carbs, and it has the prebiotics. So those are the options. Don't buy the Quaker oats, apple cinnamon, strawberries and cream. Okay, buy plain oats. If you have any kind of gluten sensitivity, they are naturally gluten-free, but they're usually processed in plants with other gluten grains. So make sure you buy one that specifically says gluten-free, so they've been particularly segregated from the rest of those crops. Just make sure that they are organic. Like I said, cotton is the most highly sprayed crop in the country in terms of pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, followed by wheat and oats. So it's really important that you buy those organic.
it's easy to find organic.
Those are very easy to find organic. Those are very easy to find.
Steel cut.
Same. I mean, so still cut. So if you really truly want to buy oats, my personal opinion, you should buy oat groats. That's what you actually get off the plant. Then they take the oat groats, they chop those up, then you get your steel cut oats. Then they strip off the outer shell, which has a lot more fiber and nutrients in it, and you're left with what you see. And then you have the oat that they roll out, they steam it and they roll it out, and then you have rolled oats or old-fashioned oats. And then you have the quick cooking oats where they take the rolled oats, they partially cook those, and then they bag them up. It's very processed. So if I do oats, I always make sure they're organic and sprouted, okay? Because that's where you're gonna get all your nutrition. And I think I passed that around before last week. So quick cooking oats are bottom of the list. The top of the list for oats in terms of maximum nutrition, no spike in your blood sugar or anything like that, are oat groats, followed by steel cut oats, followed by old-fashioned oats, followed by quick cooking oats. Groats, G-R-O-A-T-S. O-A-T-S. And so if I make homemade oat milk at home, I use oat groats for that, and not the, yeah, that's what you make it from. Okay, so where's this? I've had these sunflower seeds soaking since I got here. It was just 2 cups, now it's like 2.5 cups. Why is it so important? You'll mess up what? You said you'll mess up what?
Taco meal. I forgot to soak my nuts. It's coming in there.
Yeah, so the anti-nutrients that are on there where the plant is protecting itself from being eaten by insects, you want to just get that off so that it's more absorbable, the nutrients. It makes it more bioavailable, the nutrients in our bodies. Ideally, you want to eat sprouted ones, so I would sprout these, and we can have a whole conversation about sprouting later. So I'm going to take my soaked sunflower seeds and my pitted organic medjool dates. And I prefer to buy the ones that are not pitted because they last longer. Because once they have to open them up and pull the seed out, then they get harder a lot quicker. Whereas if you keep them whole, they're nice and juicy. So we have our half cup of that. And that's what I said. We're going to add some cinnamon to it. This is Ceylon cinnamon. Y'all can see that? Here?
There you go.
What about here? Y'all see that? Okay. Of course, organic. Like it should go without saying at this point. But in case anybody's new here today, I just eyeballed that. I think I said a teaspoon. It's about a teaspoon and a half. All right. And then I said 2 teaspoons. Okay, so that's plenty. Okay, add a little bit more. And it's always better to freshly grate your nutmeg. It's night and day difference from that stuff in a jar that's been sitting there for 5 years in the grocery store. It's a night and day difference. So it's night and day. Gets you in the spirit. And this takes the time where you can just impart your good intentions into the food. All right, so we've done that. We have our organic, and this stuff lasts forever. I don't remember when I bought that. Okay, so we're going to just pulse this until it's chunky. I think we're good. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Just maybe one more. Y'all can see that? Okay. Y'all can see. Am I holding it right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. Trying to get better pictures from our website because when I'm like a one-man band in the kitchen, trying to hold it and do it is not working. So yeah, you know. So I brought like a little serving bowl so that hopefully I can, or my husband will capture a nice picture before we serve it to you all. And I will replace it with the picture I have on my site. And I'm gonna use this one. This is nothing but goodness, y'all. It's very quick. And this is a great meal prep as well because this will last a couple days in the fridge. So.
What about freezing?
I haven't tried. I don't know how well that will work because anytime I've frozen apples that have been cut, they're kind of mealy. The texture kind of gets mealy. So.
But without the apples and that,
Just freezing this? I would say try it. I can't speak to it because I haven't done it. Oh, you are? Well, let me know how that turns out.
I didn't know what it was, but then I saw the picture and that's what I did.
Oh.
I was like, this is horrible. What do I do?
Now, when I got here, I quartered these apples. This is 5 Honey Crisp apples. If you don't like Honey Crisp, if you like Fuji, Gala, Rayburn, Washington, whatever, do whatever you like. So our goal here is not to produce applesauce. We want to get like a riced apple texture, you know, for our oats. This is a grain-free recipe. Made this for my nephew too. He really liked it. He's 2. Just move a few of those around. We're almost there. That smells really good. So we'll start y'all off with a little sweet treat today. This is a great breakfast. It really, really is. If you eat breakfast or, you know, however you break your fast in the morning, hopefully you're not going straight to processed junk. Show your body some love in the morning. Drink something alkalizing, eat something alkalizing. Just one.
That's a lot for an individual, maybe 2 people. What would you suggest?
No, I scaled this up for y'all.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. For an individual, I would do 2 apples. I would do a half cup of seeds and maybe 4 or 5 dates. All right. And oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
How long will this last in the refrigerator?
So it didn't last that long in my house, but I would say 3 to 5 days easily. And I only say that because the apples will start to brown. Oh, so this wasn't big enough. Okay. Do the clear bowl. That's not gonna be very picture worthy. That's okay.
Mix it in there.
You can mix it and put it back.
Okay. So I put this. So we have our riced apples. This could go all the way to applesauce if you wanted it to. Am I in the right spot? Okay. So it's quite simple. So we just fold this in. It's very light and refreshing. It's really, really, really nice. All right. So we have our apples and we have our date sunflower seed mixture. And I'm going to go ahead and just give this a good mix. Because sometimes people, when I say you should start your day with fruit because it's cleansing to the body, it's detoxifying to the body, then I hear people say, I don't like fruit. And I say you have to start to like things that are good for you because you've been trained to eat things that are not good for you. So this is a way, sometimes people, they want to bite into an apple. You can eat it like this and still get your fruit in. And it's still fresh, it's not cooked, you know. This smells amazing. This smells pretty amazing. So many people don't like fruit. I mean, my client, when I'm talking from like my client on the clinic side, so many people tell me they do not like fruit. Most people don't even eat fresh fruit. You know, they'll buy it out of a can or a plastic cup. They don't even eat fresh fruit. And fruit should be there every day. You should be eating that every single day. So now we're going to take our goji berries. That's how there's these potent little red things, and they add this chew to it. So we'll add some of those in there. And for if your taste buds don't like it as chewy, you can soak them. And then just for some contrast, it's not in the recipes because I had them, I will add some mulberries. And mulberries to me taste like raisins, but a little bit sweeter, like a little bit of a caramel kick to it. But this is the brand that you'll see at Target that has the goji berries. That's the only reason I brought those. So we'll add that in. And we'll give this a toss, and that's it. I'm sure it could last longer in the fridge. I just haven't had it in my house long enough for it to last longer, for me to vouch on that. I tried to hold out, but I ended up eating it. Okay, and that's it. So definitely not picture worthy right now. So we're gonna just
put a little bit in your picture bowl. Yeah, put some picture.
in this one.
Picture bowl, take a picture. And then you want to put it on here, a little bit on here.
Oh yeah, these ladies brought a whole place setting. So I love it. I encourage you all to do the same. So we can, thank you, Deb. That still didn't look very appetizing either, but.
You got a small cup or bowl that you can mound that in and then unmound it. Oh, yeah. Good idea.
Take me back to culinary days.
You know, I be watching a lot of YouTube.
In culinary school, I always got dinged on presentation. Like, it tastes great, Annie, but yeah. No, I don't. I sure don't. I can put some more goji berries on top.
There you go. Look at that. Look, go first, baby. I'm a PA all day, girl, all day.
You gonna take a picture? All right, Deb, that'll be just for you.
Make sure you got some light on that chair.
All right. Okay. So now y'all can take a taste and then tell me what you think. I'll use this one. And tell me if you like to start your day off like that. You got it? Good angles? Okay. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and, well, I'm kind of trapped by here with all these cameras. Oh, you can wait? Oh, Kimberly's going to do it. Thank you, Kimberly. Then we have our salad here.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question about the Moin Moin?
Absolutely.
What are Maggi cubes?
Vegetable bouillon cubes. Yeah.
I forgot.
You can use Knorr or Maggi. Those are ones that typically use in the dishes now, but you can use whatever one you have access to. Yep.
This is tasty. Oh, I forgot. Wait, I want to taste that berry first. I'll taste it more. I want to taste it by itself.
I welcome the feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. The dates. Yep. But not too sweet, right? Right. And that was on the plan. That was on the salad this way. Thoughts? Anyone not so much? Okay. Okay.
Is this on the website?
Yes, sir, it is. All the recipes there on the website already.
It's almost like an oldie thing.
Yeah, this is like an oat substitute. Like I said, my sister, she doesn't like oats. And so I just thought about something to do for her, and I came up with this. So that's why I said this is a grain-free recipe. She just doesn't like the texture of oats. So I try to do something that makes you feel like oats in the morning, but it has no oats in it. You're getting that oaty feeling from the sunflower seeds. So you're getting all the minerals you're able to absorb, because you have your water-soluble vitamins and your fat-soluble vitamins, so you can absorb more. And you have the fresh fruit, so it's hydrating and cleansing. So it's just a really good balance all the way around. You have the sweetness from the dates, which is full of fiber and iron and lots of trace minerals. So it's a good thing.
Every bite is a different bite.
And so when you add those goji berries, it adds that different texture. It dampens the sweetness, you know. And I just threw the mulberries in, like I said, it's not part of the original recipe, but it couldn't hurt. Make sure everybody else got some first. Okay. You want some? You eat it. I can't eat now, babe. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Y'all coming back alive. There we go. Hey, welcome back. Yes, ma'am.
Goji berries bringing us back.
Your goji berries bring you back.
Is it just the apples that's the sweet element in here?
Dates.
Oh, dates.
Too sweet. That's the first. Yeah. You can put fewer dates in. Like I said, I ramped it up for the class, but the dates are sweet in there, and then the mulberries are sweet too. They're actually quite sweet. They're a little bit sweeter than raisins.
I'm thinking it would be good if it was Granny Smith apples because it would balance it out.
I'm not a fan of the Granny Smith apple, personally, no. But yeah, if you're not a sweet person, then yeah, use whatever apple you want, and you can always put in less dates. Always put in less dates. You only need enough dates to bind the sunflower seeds. So I did a half a cup, but you can do a quarter cup or a third of a cup. I think there are other healthier vegetables, but it's good. But it's not bad. Yeah. Yeah. Why, do you like it? Yeah. I prefer kale or Swiss chard in my smoothies, or collard greens. Yeah, I prefer those over the spinach. Yeah. But oh, I'm sorry. The spinach has the goitrogens in it, and also if you eat too much spinach, it can cause people who are not eating a healthy diet to have kidney stones, kidney problems. So it's something to be aware of. Yep.
So what vegetable family is spinach? If it's not like the rest.
It's a leafy green, just like if you eat romaine, Bib. Yeah. It's not native to the planet. It's evolved. So when we're talking about like original species, it wasn't part of it, and that's why well, I'm not going to get into the science part of it, but that's the takeaway, and that's why there are other things that are a lot healthier. And because it was not original, it has those kind of qualities where it can mess up your kidneys if you eat in abundance. Like, again, you have to eat a lot of it on a regular basis for it to get to that point, but it's just something to be aware of. If you do have any kind of kidney issue, you don't want to kill it on the spinach. You want to mix it up your greens, okay? So if you want something that has a milder flavor, instead of putting kale or collard greens like in your smoothie, you want to try. I like to do like a Swiss chard. It's very mild.
So I'm glad you said that, because I usually didn't do spinach and berries, make a smoothie in the morning.
And it's good, but you want to mix it up. Your body will get used to it, and then you just want to mix it up. Mix up your greens.
So that's it. Now I gotta get rid of the whole.
No, use what you have. Yeah, use what you have, but when you go buy again, just use something different.
Go back to kale.
You try kale, yep. You can do anything. You can do, like I said, collards in a smoothie is really, really good. Turnip greens, any kind of green that you like. If you want a little spicy kick, put some arugula in there.
When I do my smoothie, I would say spinach, blueberries, is avocado
It's excellent.
and a little coconut milk.
It's excellent. So you have a fat source. I would add in like some hemp seeds or chia seeds for the omega-3s.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yep. And that'll be a full balance. You have your healthy fats, you've got your carbs, you got your fruits, your antioxidants. So that'll be a full, round it all out. Yep. Okay. So it seems like y'all overall like that. And you see that it's quite quick and simple to make. Like I said, I have to scale things up for all the people here, but at your house, you throw into your NutriBullet, I mean, and it's very straightforward ingredients, nothing hard to find. Maybe the goji berries initially, but I've told you the inside secret of the Asian market.
Sunflower seeds, where do you get those from? I haven't seen little.
Every grocery store. So here's the key. Whenever I'm talking about a nut or seed here, I'm always talking about raw. I am never talking about roasted, salted, dipped in honey and whatever stuff, concoctions they've come up with, okay? Because once you heat that nut, especially the antioxidants, because they're very heat sensitive, they dissipate, okay? So that's why you want to start your morning with something that's fruit, that's cleansing, that has not been modified by heat or processing, so it can be good to your body. So if you start off with roasted nuts, the whatever was another, like the selenium is gone. It's heat sensitive. Like it's just antioxidants. Vitamin E is very heat sensitive. So you want to eat things as raw as possible. So I did not clarify that, so thanks for asking that. So the sunflower seeds were raw. Okay, everything in this class will be raw.
And organic.
And organic. Organic wherever possible. Like I said, when I get stuff like from African or Asian markets, that's not the same labeling. You just have to talk and figure out. I do that kind of stuff. I can pass information on to you all, but you can talk to your grocer manager and they are happy to explain it to you. Yep.
And when you say the Asian markets and stuff like that, isn't it most of that stuff broadly is imported? So their standards over there going to be somewhat different than what's here in the United States.
That's 100% correct. And from being in school, we had to research. There's certain countries that are in alignment with how it's done in the U.S. and Mexico in terms of that. And there's some that are just not. And you just have to be selective with what country you're comfortable with. And you can do your own research. I'm being recorded here. This is sponsored graciously by the Arts and Science Council. So I'd be careful when I say certain things. So do your own research. And you can see it's very clear what countries are similar. And there's some countries that do it far better than us. It's not like we're the gold standard here, but it's something. And there's some countries that they really need to get together. And that's a quick Google search. It's not something that's deeply embedded that you have to be a specialist to find. It's very easily accessible.
How would you Google it?
What countries have similar standard farming practices to the United States regarding organic foods?
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all ready for some greens?
Yes.
Okay, so you all can, this salad that everyone's always talking about, we have some tongs here. So you've had the salad before, but like I said, I always get asked about the dressing. And now that you see the dressing is very simple, very, very good for you. Maybe you'll like it even more. And now it's more tender. It's been sitting now for like, what, almost an hour? So we're good.
You think that can be done with collards?
What can be done with collards? Yeah. You have to really massage. It's not going to get as tender as kale because it's a hardier green, and it'll have a little bit of bitterness to it. So really, really massage it. But I've done it with kale. I mean with collards, but if I'm doing like a big group, I won't do it because yeah. For the general public, American palate, yes. But if you're used to eating it, no. You should always add dandelion greens wherever possible. Bitter is good. Remember we talked about you need to have all flavors. Bitter is good for your liver, okay? So you really got to have that.
Yeah, I've been trying to incorporate the dandelion like in breakfast salad, just because it is bitter and it's kind of acquired taste.
Yeah, you have to get used to it if you're not used to it. And I like to juice the dandelion as well. Add that to. No, I don't usually just juice one thing typically, unless it's a melon. That's the only thing I do a standalone. But no, I'll add it with other greens and always with lime because lime cuts. Well, any citrus will cut through the bitterness, particularly in juices. Yep.
Oh,
Yes.
Can you do
do a savory version of that Rawnola?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying can
Yes, anything for you, Kimberly.
Okay. Because I like that sweet version. And I'm thinking I like the savory version too.
I'm trying to think about what the replacement would be for apples for the savory, but I have to think about it.
Butternut squash or something like that?
Yeah, or even sweet potatoes, because people don't think you have to cook sweet potatoes. You can eat sweet potatoes raw. You can eat butternut squash raw. They don't have to be cooked.
And it would be bright.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it because that would be really good.
Let me know when you do it.
Okay.
Let me know.
I do that on the week. My testing on the weekends when I don't really have a break, but yeah, I get up early to do it. Okay, so I don't know if you all can see. Let me show you all you see it's kind of puffed up like a souffle. Can you all see it on the camera? Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you pierce a knife through it, it should really come out clean. That's how you really know it's done. And I'm just praying that this oven is going to work for me today because, you know, it likes to do its own thing, this particular oven. So, yeah. Other than that, our class is really over. And
so you can actually use that dressing that you use, that garlic vinaigrette, maybe for a spinach, you said?
You use it on anything. Use it anywhere.
That's delicious.
You use
I'm going to make today. That's delicious.
Yeah.
Poppy seeds good?
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just note that if you work in corporate America and if you have a job that does random drug screening, that it will test positive and poppy seeds. So like, I was living with my sister, taking care of my nephew. My sister's a police officer. I was testing a batch of lemon poppy seed muffins. She couldn't eat them because at any time, if they ever test any police officer, it doesn't matter if it's poppy seed or not. If it's positive, they're automatically fired. So automatically, yes. So just I'm saying that just because so if you have a family member they may not tell you that, but it doesn't matter if it's positive, and they have to go. So she couldn't even eat. She couldn't even taste them. Huh?
You're testing positive for heroin?
For
opiates.
yes. Yes. Yep. So it's something to know, but it doesn't have any, like you're not gonna have any kind of psychedelic effect when you eat the poppy seed, but it is quite healthy. But the poppy plant, that's where a lot of the drugs came from. You all right, Deb? Okay. Any other questions?
You know, the Indian market seems to have okra 365 days a year. Where the hell do you get okra? That's what I want to know. They won't tell me.
Keep asking, they will. Right. Or ask a different person, they
I can't
will.
not buy it. You know what I mean? I just love it so much. So.
What I like about the Asian markets too is because people are so used to seeing in this country, I'll have to preference that, you're used to seeing beans always dried. Beans grow on a vine, okay? You eat beans fresh. The only beans I ever see fresh here are green beans or peas are in a pod. And other than that, all the other beans that grow, they're always dried, right? And but you can eat them fresh. And so the Asian markets here always, when they're in season, always have fresh chickpeas. And you can, and it's a huge difference in taste and texture. And they have other beans that are not native to here, but fresh beans. They are not just your run-of-the-mill green bean and peas. So just go to your ethnic markets. They have a world of ingredients that will open up your palate, because especially as we get older, we get used to this is how I do. My mama did it like this, and I use this. Break out, just add something new. You know, buy a new seasoning or two. Yeah.
I agree with you because we go to that Cedar Land on Central Avenue, and their seasonings are wonderful because I've learned to make that za'atar.
Za'atar, yes.
Yes, I love that on lamb bread.
Yeah, because if you go to a regular grocery store and get like the bere or the za'atar, it's the most costly, and it's for this much. Mm-hmm. But you go there, you can get a whole bag for half the cost it would be in a regular grocery store. So
This is not the same either.
No, it's not, and it's always going to be spicier too. This is awareness. Anything that has spice in it will be a little bit spicier, unless it specifically says otherwise. It will be spicier than what the palates in this country are used to. So yeah, I would highly suggest you do that.
I'm going to ask another question. We looked for the phony that you use.
Fonio.
Yeah. I went to Masita Man. He didn't have it under that name. He had it another way, and when I realized, when he showed me the bag, I had already.
Which country's from? Because like we call it acha. I told you all that. We call it acha, but in the United States it's called fonio. Where is he from?
He's Middle East, Mediterranean, because he gives us a lot of the
I don't remember what they call it. It has a lot of different names, but like I said, it's one of the oldest grains. So most civilizations have it in their
He
rotation.
looked it up on his phone, so when he was talking to me, so he know what you could use this in place of. And unfortunately, I had already bought that same bag, and so
Okay.
we tried it.
Okay, that's awesome. Again, you can also use millet, which is nutritious, and couscous is not nearly as nutritious, but still you can use it for that. And couscous is used in a lot of North African dishes, so it is an easier replacement if you all struggle to find it. But like I said, they always have it at Whole Foods. They have it at select Targets. They have it at, of course, the organic marketplace. Every time I just tell them what I want, they order it. That's basically what it comes down to. But okay.
Couscous is not that great.
Comparatively. Yeah, comparatively. Yeah, it doesn't have, it's not excellent in a lot of things. It doesn't have as many trace minerals. It's not just jam-packed full of nutrients like the other stuff like we talked about is. All right, so I'm gonna check on our cakes.
While we're waiting, did everybody sign in? Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Kimberly. Okay, well, it developed a skin because it didn't have the aluminum foil on it. That's okay. Yeah, I need a knife. So what now? One more time. I need to check to see if it's done. I think it's done. Oh. Okay. Careful, there's water in there. I said, careful, there's water in there. All right, it's supposed to have aluminum foil to steam it in, and it prevents that skin from forming. So that's not authentic. That's just because I forgot to pack aluminum foil. Oh, go ahead, babe.
So you can eat the skin or not?
You can't. I'm just saying it's not. It's supposed to be just the silky experience. It's not supposed to be a skin on top. Just like if you make pudding and it can get that skin on top. It's not that as bad, but it's just a skin on top. That's
A little crust.
So we're gonna cut each one of these in half, and everyone will get a half portion.
Is bean sprouts good?
Is what now?
Bean sprouts.
Excellent. Sprouts are one of the healthiest foods on the planet. You should eat sprouts. You should grow your own sprouts. It's pennies a day to do it. Really? Huh?
Flip them on here.
They're not gonna come out like that. You gotta. I'm really sure. We're gonna pop them out.
Flip them over and pop them out.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, you can try. What?
Like they might be formed. You see what I'm saying?
It's hot. Let's just go ahead and serve it.
Okay.
We can try. We don't have a harder. This is flimsy.
You need to cut them first.
Think so?
Let's see.
So I had this as the serving dish.
It'd just be better.
Huh?
We just scoop them out.
Okay. Well, try to go. Don't.
Did you take your picture first, like?
I wanted to serve it on this platter and then take the picture, but the skin on top, I'm not going to do that. I don't need the whole country of Nigeria coming after me. Okay.
They know you did wrong.
No. I can't do that. This is already going to be on YouTube, so I don't need y'all coming for me. Okay.
Turn it upside down.
Yeah, there's a certain
They know.
They know.
It's a reputation thing.
Yeah, I want y'all to have a good experience. So that's the most important thing for today. And then I'll make this all the time, so I'll just do it again. Just do it again.
And look, and you know how y'all do.
I know how we do. I know how we do. With love, but they mean it. But they.
Exactly how they feel.
Yeah, they shredded my husband. There's a video me and my husband dancing at a workshop, and we weren't even dancing. He was explaining something, and he was using me to explain the move, and the Nigerians shredded him. They're like, he can't dance. She needs another partner. Why is she with? I was like, dang, he wasn't dancing, y'all. He's teaching. Your first taste of a Nigerian delicacy. So I'd love to hear what y'all think. And that video has 1.3 million views. They went. Because I had a Nigerian outfit and a head wrap, so the Nigerians just started like, why is she with him? Why is she? Just a little kick though. Yeah. A big kick?
It's great big. Yeah, it tastes like stuffing. It tastes like my cornbread stuffing almost.
Oh. Okay.
It's delicious with the kick though. Really.
Yeah.
Now imagine we have 3 of them.
Oh.
Three of what now?
Imagine if you would put 3 Scotch bonnets in it.
That would have been perfect.
But is it more?
Was it hot for you?
No, because I eat hot stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because I heard that if you eat a lot of hot stuff, you can fight up a lot of bacteria.
You can. It keeps your it keeps your arteries open. It helps, and so it acts as a catalyst. So anytime you take any kind of what they call medication or even plant medication, if you take it with something like a heat, any kind of pepper, it helps to drive it into the cells. That's what it acts as a catalyst in the body. So that's why it's always good to have some type of heat element to whatever you can handle, because it drives the nutrition to the cells, a catalyst. That's the purpose of it. So.
Now, what do you eat this with normally?
They serve with plantain, ogi, fried rice. You'll normally see it like that. Yeah. I guess because I'm used to having like sweet dressing. I don't know.
Sweet dressing?
Remember I made dressing, cornbread dressing? You say you don't do sweet dressing? Yeah. So I don't know what the savory one tastes like, but this is something you come home from school, come from work. You have 2 or 3 of these, and normally it's wrapped in banana leaf though, but it's really, really good. And it's very easy. It's just a dump and go, and you just let it bake. But again, it wouldn't have that film on it. The minus the film, the whole thing would be like that.
Do you always eat it hot or yeah?
So if you go to a restaurant, it's going to be served hot, but you can eat it room temperature and you can eat it cold. So.
Would you eat it with a bean sauce?
A bean sauce?
Like how you puree the beans into a sauce and have it, like it's like a gravy, but it's made of beans.
It ain't authentic, honey.
Yeah. You can do whatever you like, but no, this would be like, you would have jollof rice, plantain, moi moi, all that will be on the same plate typically, and you would have some type of salad component, be it the Nigerian cabbage we did. You have that, or some type of regular salad, and then you have, as a little sweeter thing, you have like the ogi. Ogi is the fermented custard. So, and all that would be served as a dish. And then nowadays you'll also serve it with stewed chicken as well, and maybe some okra. That's been, yeah, Jackie?
Okay, the first recipes that you started out with, did they ever approve the logo and stuff? Okay.
That's why I just put it on my website. So all the recipes are there, but the handout, I created a West African flavor profile because we're doing West African recipes now before we go into Caribbean and Southeast Asian. That hasn't been approved yet. We're going to edit that part out. But I went ahead and just put the recipes up on my website so that the recipes are there. So the jollof rice and the plantain we did is there.
There's lots of Ethiopian restaurants in Charlotte.
Oh, yes.
Do you know of other restaurants from the African region?
There's a South African restaurant I mentioned last week, Oh My Soul in Noda, which is delicious.
Oh, really? Oh, my soul, that's the name.
Oh My Soul, yeah. It's South Africa. All the owners are from South Africa. They built it a couple years ago, and it's really, yeah, it's really, really good. There were 3 Nigerian restaurants, and during COVID they closed. So basically, if you go right here on Sugar Creek, it's like Little Africa, and you'll see lots of little shops. The one that's still left that we can go to is a Ghanaian restaurant called Mama G's. It's on Beatty's Ford near Johnson C. Smith. And there's not that many West African restaurants. Like I said, there's a lot of Ethiopians, there's a lot of East African, there's one South African, and I don't know of any Central African.
Or North African, like Moroccan.
No, North or Central. No, I haven't seen it in this area. I have not seen it. I have not seen it, unfortunately, because it's so good. So good.
So you're going to do couscous one? I mean, you're going to do, what is that sticky,
Next week we're doing a goosey and fufu.
yeah.
Are we
So.
gonna do anything with okra?
Okay, at the top of the year, I will do something for okra just for you, Jackie, and for you too. Okay.
Because you can get it at the Indian store.
We can do an okra soup that's very popular. We do an okra soup. We'll start with what we call soups, you all maybe call it a stew, because they're not soup like a soup you think of in the United States, but all of our stuff is called soups. So we do like a goosey soup next week, and then we'll do an okra soup. Mom really loves okra soup, Nigerian okra soup, and yeah, the fufu. So the fufu is a labor of love. So if you don't want to make the fufu at home, you can always serve it over rice or fonio or wild rice or whatever other grain or pseudo grain you want to do. So yeah, so that's it, guys. So thank you.